Hazaku Baruch, good morning, Morai V'Rabotai. B'ezrat Hashem, Mincha is going to be 5:30. Also to remember the fast tomorrow, Ta'anit Esther. The fast begins at 5:10 and ends at 6:10. But one's AM and one's PM. Sorry to break the news. So the learning today, Tuesday, is for today. Learning is Refuah Shelema, Simcha Ben Sonia, sponsored by Alex Levy, and Leilui Nishmat, Nisan Ben Leah, sponsored by Gavriel Levaev. Chazaku Baruch. The halakha of the Birkat Yosef, the Birkei Yosef, he says a halakha about killing bugs on Shabbat. This halakha is as follows. If he sees his wife killing bugs, which is of course asur to do, on Shabbat, and he estimates that he would say something and he tells her not to do it, she's not going to listen. He knows she's not going to listen. In such a case, obviously, most Nashim in Am Yisrael are tzadkaniyot and they want to do the right thing. But once in a while, they don't want to listen. So he says, if I tell her, I know she's not going to listen. Is he still required to tell her and stop her? Or do we say, oh, no, if she's not going to listen, then he doesn't have to tell her anything. The Birkei Yosef writes, it really depends on what is mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says that if a person is violating a halakha that is explicitly written in the Torah, so then we say that you have to tell him, even if he's not going to listen. You have to be mocheh. You have to protest what he's doing, because it's explicit in the Torah. However, halakha that's not written explicitly in the Torah, then you're not required to protest if you know he's not going to listen. If it's a safek, you're not sure, maybe he'll listen, maybe he won't, you have to say. But if you're 100% sure he's not going to listen, then you don't have to say if it's not explicitly written in the Torah. So the Birkei Yosef asks the question, he says, do we view trapping or killing as something that's explicitly written? On the one hand, it says in the Torah, Kol melacha lo ta'aseh. You're not allowed to do any of the work of Shabbat. So therefore it's explicit. But on the other hand, what's the definition of melacha? That's Torah shebe'al peh, 39 melachot that are learned out from the Mishkan and passed down from Moshe Rabbeinu to Am Yisrael. So maybe it's not viewed as explicit. At the end of the day, halacha lema'aseh, even if it was explicit in the Torah, but because you're not killing for the sake of the need of the item, it's called melacha she'ena tzricha legufa. So therefore, the prohibition of killing in such a circumstance actually is rabbinic, is not from the Torah, according to many of the Rishonim and the halacha lema'aseh. Once it's rabbinic, it's clearly not written in the Torah, and one would not have to protest if he knows that his wife is not going to listen. So in such a case, halacha lema'aseh, if the husband estimates that maybe she'll listen, he should say something to her. And if he estimates that she won't listen, there's a concept, mutav shiu shogegin ve'ariu mizidin. It's better for her to violate and not know that the halacha is asur, and then know and then violate it knowingly, which is far worse. And because it's not viewed as if it's written in the Torah, a husband is allowed to go ahead and to not protest in such a case where he estimates that his wife is not going to listen. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.